we want to find the absolute minimum of this function on this interval. And in order to do that, we need to draw a chart of x values and y values. The x values that always go on your chart are the endpoints of the interval given. So then in this case, that's 0 and 2. But to find the other x values, we need to take the derivative and set that equal to 0. So let's go ahead and do that. F prime of x equals 2x squared minus x minus 3, which factors into 2x minus 3 times x plus 1. We're going to set that equal to 0 and figure out the values of x that cause this to be 0. That would be x equals 3 halves and x equals negative 1. Now we aren't going to use x equals negative 1 because it doesn't fall in the interval, so we're going to cross this guy off. But x equals 3 halves, which is 1.5, does fall in the interval from 0 to 2, so that we're going to throw that guy on our chart. Okay. We need to plug in each of these x values into our original function to figure out the corresponding y values. So let's go ahead and do that. F of 0 is pretty easy. When I plug in 0, I get 0 minus 0 minus 0 plus 2 is 2. How about f of 2? When I plug in 2, I get 2 cubed is 8 times 2 is thirds is 16 thirds. Then I have minus 2 minus 2, 3 times 2 is 6 plus 2, and that comes out to be, cancel. 16 thirds minus 6 is 18 thirds. 16 thirds minus 18 thirds is negative 2 thirds. So that's the corresponding y value here. I didn't actually put the y value from 0 there. So we have 2, negative 2 thirds. And then I need to plug in 3 halves. This is kind of the doozy here. So f of 3 halves equals 2 thirds times 3 halves cubed would be 9 fourths. 3 halves squared is 9 fourths times negative 1 half is negative 9 eighths. 3 halves times negative 3 would be negative 9 halves. And then I have plus 2 at the very end. It looks like we've got a bunch of 9s in the top, but we're going to get a common denominator here. So this is the same thing as 18 over 8 minus 9 over 8 minus 36 over 8 plus 16 over 8. And I think this all comes out to be negative 11 over 8. The absolute maximum is your largest y value that we see on this list, and the largest y value I see is 2. So this is our absolute max. And the bottom, or the smallest value here, is negative 11 eighths. So this is our absolute minimum. And so this is your absolute min.